I made a commitment to myself that I was going to make 30 videos in 30 days on a YouTube channel. Not put my face in any of them. I say some things about Alcoholics Anonymous, and I don't want to be considered a representative of Alcoholics Anonymous, so that's probably the biggest reason why I don't put my face on the videos. That's an ego bruiser because I want you to see who I am. So I don't know how many days it's been. It may be 10 days, and I'm stuck to that commitment. So I have another 20 days. I have another YouTube video where I expose my face and I do some videos, nothing to do with AA. Today's topic for myself, because along with that commitment was I was going to make these videos for myself. And if someone got something out of it and they watched the videos, then I mean, it's just gravy, right? That's just an extra benefit. Today's topic is the new preamble for AA. If you're not familiar with it, the old preamble, the one that you could still use as a group, it says Alcoholics Anonymous is a group of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope. That's the line in the preamble. The new preamble says Alcoholics Anonymous is a group of people. That's the only thing it changes, men and women over the people. I don't know how controversial it is with other people, but for me, it's a really important subject, like really important. To be honest, the reason why it's so important is because, you know, the line in our AA literature that stuff is based on circumstance, not virtue. It's not, I can't claim that it's just virtue. All of a sudden I became open-minded and tolerant towards a group of people that I'm not familiar with. And it just came to me because I'm so virtuous. I believe that that would be the case because I am open-minded. And anyway, I have to be honest that this is a personal subject to me. My daughter, who wants to be referred to as they and them and not gender specific pronouns, talk about you can't read up on that in the parenting manual, right? That was a whole to do. That was difficult. I say difficult for me. I wasn't going through it. My daughter was, and how I behaved while they were going through it. It's a difficult time. So it's personal to me. With that in mind, I didn't like come right out and just say I was going to make a commitment to never initiate a vote on the new preamble being used at any group I went to versus the old because of the personal nature. You know, I really I like to think I'm an AA purist. I'm not. I mean, in some areas I'm not, but you know, we don't talk about politics, religion. We don't have opinions on outside issues when we're inside AA meetings. And it says right in our AA literature that that's a cinch to abide by. Is if we outside of the meeting, it's a cinch to abide by if we at least start inside the meeting by not bringing up any subjects not pertinent to AA. I get all that. So that's what's going on through my mind. However, when the vote comes up for a home group like mine, that they can vote on whether or not to adopt the new preamble, people versus men and women, it strikes a chord with me. Yes, because of the personal nature that I have associated with it, but also my new way of thinking over the past 20 years, how I gradually have become so much more open-minded. And when I say tolerant, it, it doesn't it doesn't feel right coming out of my mouth, because when I say tolerant, it's almost like I'm tolerant of you and your behavior, even though my way is right. That kind of comes into play when I say tolerant. I just wanted to get that out there. Like, I am superior, but I will tolerate your bad behavior. And that's kind of crazy. Don't even get me going on acceptance. Like, that is the lowest rung of the ladder I ever want to be on, is acceptance. I want to live in enjoyment and enthusiasm. Okay, back to what I was saying. I can make a case for why the new preamble should be mandatory for all AA meetings to adopt. I mean, with the inclusive nature of it. It's more inclusive than men and women. The tolerance that's there, a sign of the times that AA is trying to come into a sign of the times and show that, that subject's not going away and it's important to some people. So if it's not important to you, then what's it matter? Because people versus men and women, the word people, encapsulates everyone, even that minority that maybe doesn't want to be referred to as a man or a woman. So anyway, I can make a valid argument case. Now, if anybody out there is listening, or I doubt if I'm going to have anybody listening, and they say, well, you know what happened was it was a clandestine vote that was done in the dark. And that's why I want to keep men and women, because the voting process was not how it usually is in AA. And if I am defiant in this, then they may just go back to the old preamble. And that's the message I'm sending. I don't have anything against people that don't want to be referred to as men or women, but that's the reason why. Then I'm here to nip that argument right in the bud. And I'm not saying I got it from the horse's mouth, but I got pretty close. I talked to men that are sober over 40 years, that are very involved in the intricacies of what goes on behind the scenes with AA. These men also are conservative, in my opinion, from what they've said. They hold positions within AA, and their sponsors hold positions within AA that shows you the nuts and bolts and the infrastructure of AA at a level that not most of us are familiar with. And I asked them this question without baiting them, without giving them facial gestures, body language, or a tone of voice or anything that was trying to guide them into answering me a certain way, because I'm aware that people could do that. I mean, I could do that. I was a king manipulator when I was out there drinking. So being aware of that and just asking point blank, was the voting process on the new preamble, people versus men and women, was that done in a way that was unusual for AA? Like, I don't know, secretive in nature or so? Because that's what I heard. And every one of them has said no. It was completely done the same way any other changes to AA take place. It was done at the group level, and it was done over the course of a long time. Questionnaires were sent out to groups, they questioned it, and the new preamble was adopted. Now, AA gives groups the option of using the old one or the new one. But no, it was not done in any kind of clandestine, secretive way. So that argument is nipped in the bud right there. If you want to show that it was done another way, if that's your argument, then show us the other way. And your argument still doesn't hold up, because the new preamble is here to stay. All right, that was a lot of background to get to here. When a group, my home group, has the ability and someone else brings up the vote on it, and the vote stays as men and women, I can let go of all those arguments and just come up with, that's not a group I want to belong to. That shows an intolerance. That also shows a defiance. Defiance is the key here, because I want to whittle it down that people might not, I was going to say ignorant, but that is a harsh word. People may not know what's going on, and they may just be fearful for any kind of change in AA. I got that. I've played this tape a million different ways. At a real basic level, AA has adopted a new preamble that eventually all groups are going to have. And the fact that collectively group members get together and keep the old preamble in place sends a message. And that is a message of defiance at a group level. And because of that, I can't belong to that group. AA, my home group, has to be better than me as an individual. I consider, and I know that these are probably harsh words. I don't know harsh, but these are like dramatic words. But I consider AA as perfect as you could possibly be. And how I come up with that is, collectively speaking, all of the members, you've heard that saying, the sum of all the parts is greater than the whole. Collectively speaking, if we take every individual's best traits, that's what AA is. the best traits of every individual, and the shortcomings and character defects, those go out the door, and they're individual members' shortcomings and character defects. But as far as a group and a home group, I don't hold it to the same level as AA. But I do say I have the ability to go to another home group if I want. And that's where I'm at today. Today's Wednesday. Last Wednesday, the home group that I belong to voted on this, and they kept the old preamble. I told you about the personal nature of the preamble to how it applies to me in the beginning of this video. I'll tell you another, like, if I'm really honest with myself, why it bothers me also that it stayed with men and women, is that these people that I've become close with, that I would consider my friends, that voted to keep the old men and women, they know a little bit about me. I think they would agree with this statement. I've brought a lot to the table at my home group as far as what I share, what I do, who I am as a person, as far as bringing love, compassion, warmth. I add something to the home group. They also know a little bit about my situation with my personal life, with what I told you about my daughter. So with them knowing that, what I just told you about me and my life, then without sounding like I'm an immature little baby, that should be, I hate saying should, that should be enough for them to vote people versus men and women. And I know I got the argument inside. No, people have their own opinions. And if they want to vote the other way, they can. I got all that. These people know me, and they know what's going on and how important this subject is to me. And that subject of keeping men and women versus people is more important to them. And that hurts. It hurts. I got like I said, I have all the arguments on the other side. I'm famous for playing devil's advocate in my own head, and I come up with all the different scenarios. It's important to them, and because it's important, well, with taking all my feelings out of it, then I say that it's more important to them than I am. And that's what hurts. It's not the sole reason. I just went over all my different reasons and excuses and all those different things, but that's my take on it. So the preamble is staying in place, men and women versus people, and the opportunity to adopt the new preamble was put out there, not by me, and it was voted on. And now here it is Wednesday, and tonight is my home group, and I doubt I'm going to go back to that home group. And if I do, I have this like thought in my head about what I would say. Not I'm going to stomp my feet and yell and scream and curse, just to make sure that the people at the home group, at the meeting, know that they had the ability to adopt people versus men and women. And collectively speaking, the home group voted to keep men and women. Maybe even throw in there like a little dig, like, and that's why I'm not coming back. That was me making fun of myself. Instead, I'm going to look for another home group. I'm going to look for a home group, and it's a great place to start. That if they have the preamble in place that says people versus men and women, it's a great place to start. I have something to build off of. So if you're out there and you got a home group that uses people versus men and women, and you want another member that's going to bring more to the table than takes, reach out to me and let me know.